Good morning, students. Again, we are back to studies after a gap of 1 week. So, chapter 4 Atomic Structure and Chemical Bonding was running. So, in that, I have explained you in the previous videos, I have explained you about the discovery of electron, proton, and atomic structure, that how it is formed, and how atoms are the structure of atom is discovered, how electrons are formed, what are the characteristics of electron, proton, and neutron, and about the isotopes and isobars I've explained. So today we are going to learn about chemical bonding. But before we move to today's videos, let me tell you that now we are on chapter 4. So obviously it is an online session running, and having you're not getting a chance to interact with me to ask your doubts. So with this video, in the description box I have given a link, which is a Google form, and in which you can respond and ask me your doubts regarding to chapter 1 and 2. So I'll try to clear out your doubts, and I'll make my next video on your doubts, explaining your questions. Whatever you will ask, I will try to clear it out in my next video. So please see that link in description box and respond on it. Whatever doubts you are having regarding to question chapter 1 and 2, you can ask me that, and I'll try to clear it out in my next video. That will be your Q&A session, your question and answer video, your doubt video, doubt clearing session, whatever you can see it. Okay, so let's get started. So today we are going to learn about chemical bonding. Chemical bonding, what is chemical bonding? So you know that elements are capable of free existence, and elements combine to form compound. Now what happen in a compound? In a compound, atoms of different elements are held together by bonds. So these bonds by which the elements in an compound combine, these bonds are called chemical bonds. So chemical bonding provides the energy necessary to hold two different atoms together as part of chemical compound. And strength of the bond depends on the molecules or atoms involved in the process of bond formation. So types of bond that are present in a compound are largely responsible for its physical and chemical properties. A chemical bond is said to form between two atoms when they are held together in a molecule. As I've explained you before, and you're reading it from class 6, that that two elements combine together to form a compound. Now when two elements combine together, their atoms combine together, there will be some release of energy, conservation of energy. So when that two atoms combine together to form a compound, that strength of the bond, that how strongly they are bonded together, and molecules that are involved in the process of bond formation, they they give us the structure, and they are very largely responsible for its physical and chemical properties, for the physical and chemical properties of the compound. Chemical bond is a force that holds group of two or more atoms together and make them function as a unit. As we know that atom is the smallest unit of an element, and molecule is a group of covalently bonded atom. So you can see in the diagram, the red one represent the atom, and the red one represent the molecule, and the two atoms, so blue one. So atoms combine together and they form a molecule. Now this is all about chemical bonding. A chemical bond is said to form between two atoms when they are held together in a molecule. So there are mainly two types of chemical bond: ionic bonds and covalent bond. So here we are going to study about these two type of bond. Some more bonds are also there, like hydrogen bonding, coordinating and dative bond, and hydrogen bonds. So in this chapter we are going to learn about these two bonds only: ionic bond and covalent bond. So first, ionic bond. An ionic bond is when an electron leaves one atom and exothermically enters into orbit around another. These two oppositely charged ions now attract each other. Ionic bonds are generally formed between two metals and non-metal. So, the chemical bond formed between two atoms by transfer of electron from one atom to another is called ionic or electrovalent bond. Before we move to the detailed description of ionic bond, let me explain you what is the basic and main difference between ionic bond and covalent bond. So in ionic bond, or we can say electrovalent bond, there is a transfer of electron from one to another, one element to another. But uh, in covalent bond, there is a sharing of electrons. Okay, this is the basic difference between ionic bond and covalent bond. That in ionic or electrovalent bond, there is a transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom, and in covalent bond there is a sharing of electrons. Okay, remember that. So whenever a chemical bond formed between two atoms by transfer of electron from one atom to another, that bond is called ionic bond or electrovalent bond. So the number of electrons lost or gained by the atom is called its electrovalency. And the compounds that are formed are called ionic compounds or electrovalent compounds. Obviously, the bond is ionic and electrovalent, so the compounds which will be formed by the formation of these bonds, that will be ionic compound and electrovalent compound. These bonds already form between metals and non-metals. Now here is the example of ionic bond. So a classic example of ionic bonding is between Na and Cl. As I told you that this is the bond between one metal and one non-metal. So here Na is the metal, sodium, and Cl is chlorine, that is non-metal. Na is a silvery metal, it has one valence electron. Cl is a yellow-green gas and it needs one electron to fill its valence shell. If you put the gas and the metal together, they will burn as electrons are exchanged. The word exothermically, which was used before in the previous slide, that is for that only, because they will burn in forming the bond and there will be a release of energy. So here you can see that in sodium, you can see this red electron, this is a valence electron, and here in the structure of chlorine atom, you can see that last electron here has a valency. To complete its octet, you can see a white dot here. So to complete its octet, it need one electron, and here sodium metal has one valence electron. So if you put the gas and the metal together, then they will burn as electrons are exchanged. The metal dissolves and the gas disappears. The ions now have opposite charges and are attracted to each other by electrostatic forces, and they form a crystal with the rock salt structure. So you can see there is a sharing of electron. Sodium is a cation. It has lost one electron to, it has transferred one electron to Cl. You can see here that from here the valence shell is now, the octet is complete, the outermost shell is having all the paired bond, and here also in the chlorine the octet is complete. The red one is the shared electron which sodium has given to electron. So here you can see there is a transfer of electron from one atom, one element, one atom to another. So here electrons are transforming from one element to the another element, and there they are sharing a bond, and this is called electrovalent bond or ionic bond. Now next is covalent bond. Now in your book, so many formations are given with electrovalent bond, like formation of magnesium chloride, formation of calcium oxide. Some examples are given. So just go through it once. I know you'll definitely understand it once you'll read it. If you are having doubt, you are free to ask it to me. I'll explain it in my next video. No problem. Now next is covalent bond. The chemical bond formed due to the mutual sharing of two or more electron between two atoms is called a covalent bond. As I told you before, that there is a basic difference, that in electrovalent bond there is a transfer of electron, and in covalent bond there is a sharing of electrons. So type of chemical bond in which there is mutual sharing of electrons between two atoms is called covalent bond. It is further classified into single, double and triple covalent bond with respect to mutual sharing of 1, 2 and 3 bonds respectively. So covalent bonds are formed between two nonmetals. In this type of bonding, electrons are not transferred but shared. So the electrovalent bond is between one metal and one non-metal, but here the covalent bond is in between two non-metals. The atoms of non-metal generally have 5, 6 or 7 electrons in their valence shells, except carbon, which is 4 electrons, and hydrogen, which is 1 electron in the valence shell. Now, due to energy consideration, it is not possible to transfer so many electrons. Therefore, non-metal complete their octet by sharing electrons. So when a non-metal combines with another non-metal, sharing of electron takes place between their atoms and a covalent bond is formed. So here is an example of covalent bond. When two hydrogen atoms get close enough together, the attraction is balanced in both directions and they share the electrons between them. A covalent bond is made and hydrogen gas H2 is formed. In the hydrogen molecule, darker area between the two nuclei shows where the two electrons, which are now shared, are most likely to be. Now, we know that each hydrogen atom has one electron in its outermost shell. To attain stability, a hydrogen atom requires 2 electrons in its outermost shell, as it is the minimum number of requirement number of the electrons in a shell. So this is achieved when two atoms come close enough, allowing their orbits to overlap. So here you can see in the diagram, here these are the two atoms of hydrogen, and here they are allowing the overlapping of the two atoms of hydrogen. The single electron in the orbit of each hydrogen atom is now shared by both the nuclei. You can see this darker side here in between where they are overlapping. Here it is showing the sharing of electrons. The single electron in the orbit of each hydrogen atom is now shared by both the nuclei. The highest probability of finding this sharp pair of electron is the overlapped region. The pair of electron in the overlapped region constitute a bond, and therefore the hydrogen molecule has a single bond, because here only two atoms of hydrogen are combining, and there are two electrons which are sharing. So this is about the covalent bond. Now, as I told you, for electrovalent bond also there are so many examples are given. Same for the covalent bond also, so many examples are given in your book. So just go through it once. This is all about electrovalent bond and covalent bond, which is given in your book right now. Not so much detailed description is given, that you will learn in higher classes. So here chapter 4 is finished now. In next video, as I told you, that there is a link in which you can ask your doubts, so I'll make that video on your doubts. Doubt clearing session will be there, and after that we will start chapter number 5. So whatever doubts you're having, you can ask in that Google form link, and just go through it, and I hope you'll find this video useful for your studies. So thank you and have a nice day.